Yes, Yewande, please go on.
Sorry. Yes, good morning all. Really had no choice in the matter. For those who do not know, my first engagement with Pastor, as an undergraduate in the University of Benin, he came to campus with one of his colleagues to recruit graduates. He was working at Citibank at the time, what was Nigeria International Bank, and that's how I ended up in banking. So he was licensed to invite me for any event at any amount of notice, and I would not have the capacity to say no. But I'm also delighted to speak about the topic. I'll see my screen. I take it my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Fantastic. So as I'm going first. I thought it would be useful to provide aids to the African Continental Free Trade Area. And I find there's a fair bit of anxiety amongst many Nigerians when they talk about this. We should be concerned about it, but we should not be needlessly anxious. And I'll explain why, as I continue speaking. But the first reason I think that we should not be overly concerned about it is because the idea of the African Continental Free Trade Area and what it represents has always existed. Nigerians and other Africans have always had the capacity to trade amongst themselves, whether there was a normal trading arrangement like that or not. What the AFCF offers is an opportunity for engaging in this activity on the basis of rules that promote goods for those who go outside of the guidelines. It is also a deliberate Africa's economic development advance on the basis of the actions of Africans themselves. So we're doing a lot more business with ourselves rather than just trading with the outside world. And this model is the same one that many continents have used for their own movement, but Africa can win the game. In the context of timeline for the AFCFTA, Nigeria actually led this course from the 1960s, pushed for a market. And that's why for many corners of Africa, there was a surprise when Nigeria expressed some hesitation and reservations when the agreement was negotiated and it was going to be started. But because from a historical context, it was actually Nigeria that first Africa must operate as one, as a single market. In the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area, if you hear free trade area, you assume that the objective is to have 100% free trade. In reality, it isn't. The objective is instead to have a progressive elimination to develop and promote our regional and continental value chains. So there's what they call in trade a 90-10 rule, where the primary objective is that 90% of the goods traded between African countries enjoy zero tariff. And countries have 5 years to get to this point. For those countries that are in customs unions, they have 10 years. The balance of 10% includes two components. They call a sensitive list, that is 7% of the items. And for items, the objective is also to get to zero, but it is not immediate. As I mentioned, for 90%, it's 5 years to liberalize and 10 for the countries in unions. For the 7% liberalize and 13 for the least developed countries on the continent. Then there's a 3% exclusion list that all countries have the capacity themselves to decide. This 3% exclusion list comprises of 184 tariff lines that countries can see as non-negotiable and change over 5 years. These are tariff lines that countries are not required to liberalize, and it allows any products that a country considers strategic to be safeguarded. It's not completely trade, just the element of non-barrier. And the three major customs unions that we have on the continent, many of us are familiar with ECOWAS, but there's also the Southern African Customs Union and the East African Community. This comes to four. The in reality on the African continent that is fully ready to take advantage of the AfCFTA. So we should be concerned that we are not ready, but we should not be overly concerned because not a single country is fully ready. What most countries plan to do is to use the AfCFTA as the driving force for enhancing their global trade competitiveness. The agreement has been signed, the agreement is operational. It is a new day in which we need many practice on improve them, enhance our readiness. The countries that are the most ready, there are 6 countries on the continent that are deemed the most ready: South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, Kenya, Egypt, and Botswana. In the African context, they seemingly have additional work in order to optimize. In many ways, all of the other countries require material work. So these countries, and the 6 countries I mentioned, are not completely ready, but they're more ready than most. And we know ourselves, I mentioned the AfCFTA is not, the agreement is new, but the idea that it promotes is not one that is new. And we all know of many Nigerian companies that have crossed the borders of Nigeria, even without the AfCFTA, and have seen their service across the continent. UBA, Gote, GT, Glow, Switcher, and Nigeria's fashion, Nigeria's music, Nigeria's movies, they are all consumed all over the continent. So it tells you that Nigerians have practiced the business of trading in other countries long before. We believe that Nigeria is more ready than most. We've seen, that Nigerian companies have traveled across the continent. Nigeria's manufacturing value addition is more than 7 times the average of the top 20 economies in Africa. And in many ways, the agreement itself complements Nigeria's agenda for economic development. But certainly the potential opportunities we consider to be immense, where many see, for many countries, and for many of us, the people that are concerned, the concern is that Nigeria can become the target economy. Because if Nigeria sits and does nothing, but if Nigerians have always reacted to competition, then Nigerians will do well, as Nigerians have always done in the face of fair competition. There are real threats, that is without doubt. The challenges we have with power, with route to market infrastructure, with security, those things that hinder our competitive advantages still exist, and they're things that require work. So urgent norms in those areas. But Nigeria's competitive advantages, a lot of the things that Africans import are the things that Nigeria has also defined as priority industrialization economic development. I've shown you on a previous slide that Nigerians have long traveled agricultural products and manufactured goods also represent comparative advantages for Nigeria. In the context of competitive advantages, there are very few if any countries, continents, entrepreneurial, as innovative, and as ingenious as Nigeria is. And it is that entrepreneurial spirit and ingenuity that we need to bring to the fore in competing in the context of the AFCFTA. The scale of the opportunities we have in Nigeria, but more importantly, it's how adaptable and agile anything to come up with solutions to address challenges. It is that spirit, that we need to bring to the game. In the context of incentives, there's a document that NIPC produced in 2017 that we're in the process of adopting now that lists the investment incentives in Nigeria. And on the next slide, I extract just 6 of those principal investment incentives. But in the context of the AFCFTA, there's comparative and competitive advantages. The objective will be to design incentives to better support the capacity of Nigerians. But in my own experience, where Nigerians have got a fair chance to compete, the Nigerian spirit and Nigerians have won. It is important the mentality that we have as we go into this AFCFTA. If you go into battle, assuming that you will lose, invariably, you may not be as battle ready as you should be. If you go into battle, assuming that you will win without preparing, there will equally be challenges. But if you do the work that is required to prepare for that engagement, and if you go into battle match ready, if you like, I believe that Nigeria has the capacity to win at this game because we are more ready than most, and we are an adaptable people. We have an entrepreneurial spirit that runs across the fabric of Nigeria. The agency that I work for, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, was established to perform 4 principal functions. The first is to promote attractive image area. The second, promoting in Nigeria, whether those invest from Nigerians or Nigerians. And then investment facilitation, providing support services to investors, matchmaking and acting as a conduit between investors and government agents. And the last piece, which and supporting measures that enhance National Action Committee, the NOTN, and other organs of government to help craft appropriate policy guidance that will help Nigeria better win at the AFCFTA. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you very much, Yewande. Please be around.
Adeji, over to you.
Thank you very much, Yewande. Please be around for the Q&A session. I hear many things from you. I hear that not everybody is ready. I hear that we should be concerned but not anxious. I hear that we should ensure that we bring our Nigerian spirit to the game. I also hear that we should be adaptable, we should be agile, and all of a sudden our market has increased.